So to the first upload of this hour, we are going to go to West Malling in Kent to find Giles Whitehead with a piece called Open Studios. It's a really great initiative, this. Giles himself is an artist. He grew up on a small dairy farm in Tenterton, and he studied at the Kent Institute of Art and Design in Maidstone. Thoroughly talented he is, and this is a little piece. He often gives us montages and, I suppose, little vignettes of nostalgia of growing up back in the 70s and 80s. This is about open studios where artists from all across the southeast open up their doors to visitors, and it's a really, really lovely opportunity to meet artists in their natural habitats. A really, really good idea. So let's listen to Giles now as he tells us all about it. Giles Whitehead in West Malling in Kent with Open Studios.
It's that time of year again when one has to present oneself in a certain light. That of the mad artist. Well, not really. I mean, more of an artist who is open and welcoming and not that mad. Just a little bit mad. South East Open Studios is an opportunity in June to go and meet other artists in their natural habitats. I've been going since I moved back to Kent from London in 2002. Everyone is different. Everyone's space is unique. And as much as the small picture in the brochure can suggest, you never quite know what you're going to get. At that time, in 2002, 22 years ago, being a teacher and not having a studio, it didn't really cross my mind that I could ever take part. But gradually, my thoughts began to change. And a few years ago, after reassessing my artistic failings, I decided that, yes, I am an artist and I will have my own studio. And so I emailed companies across Kent who seemed to offer such a service. But as neither of them replied, I was forced to take matters into my own hands. Problem was I'd never actually built anything before, and so I asked some of the more DIY-inclined friends for some advice, who all said, knock your shed down and start afresh. But it was a good solid shed. I didn't want to knock it down. I had this idea that I could build outwards and make the shed into the storeroom. A sort of shed extension, as it were. One friend, however, was on board with my idea and said, let's do it. And so together we began making my dream a reality. In my normal resourceful style, most of the materials for the studio were recycled. If people were having their fences replaced, I would say, stop, don't throw that old fence away, that's good wood. And so it became part of the studio. Any waste wood was pieced together, making a beautiful jigsaw of different colours and textures. I took out all of my accumulated junk from the shed, I put it outside, assessed it, and decided what it could be. Unbelievably, I'd amassed around 100 old picture frames, which became a patchwork of different sizes, squares and rectangles, fitted together to make the windows of the studio. The corrugated roof was inspired by my favourite Amberley Working Museum in Sussex. The pathway around the outside was made from a collection of old bricks of all different shades of orange, gleaned from skips and pulled from the mud of surrounding fields and in hedges. Once the structure was in place, I could then begin to decorate, put up shelves, fix a solar panel to the roof to provide power for lighting, and I was ready to sign up for South East Open Studios 2022. June is a lovely time of the year, and the garden is always in bloom. You could describe our garden as probably more of a wildlife garden. I mean, our lawn doesn't exactly have edges. Plants have arrived from the wind or been acquired from friends, neighbours and village fates, foxgloves, dandelions, poppies, and a tree that we've never fully identified. It was acquired through the free tree scheme that was clearly mislabelled as a crabapple, but it does have a lovely blossom. We also have a mock orange that dominates the garden in June. Plant pots with pansies and geraniums, and a very large bay tree that hangs over from next door's garden. Although the studio becomes packed with art, it spills out into the garden with life-size wooden figures, sculptures and freestanding shelves full of paintings. It's difficult to predict the number of visitors. There'd be some flurries, followed by periods of quiet. One day, after seeing nobody all morning, a coachload arrived. Well, I say a coachload. It was more of a group of pensioners who were making the most of their free bus pass. It was only at a later point I heard they were actually looking for open gardens, but had got the wrong day, and I was the best they could make of a bungled bus day out. Then there was the lady who came for cake. She came, ate cake, and then took more cake on the way out. "A piece for later," she said. I suppose there are some people who come for the cake, but then others who can relate to the themes. After my wife heavily criticised my visualisation of the archetypal angry woman, "That's horrible," she said. "Nobody will want that." It became my most popular image, selling numerous prints and sculptural representations to a solely female audience of a certain age. Some people even came back for more to purchase as gifts for female friends. They just couldn't get enough of the angry woman. My wife says open studios is a pain because you can't hang your underwear on the washing line for a month. But on the flip side, it's a good opportunity to meet people and celebrate creativity. When my musical friend and fellow studio creator came to visit, we played some tunes in the garden and one of our visitors joined in with the vocals, creating a lovely atmosphere on a sunny afternoon. And then right in the last minute of open studios, just moments before I was about to pack up in a great anticlimax, a couple arrived in great excitement and appreciation. Yes, they got it. Yes, they understood my artistic view of the world. I am not alone in my thoughts. We just randomly picked a studio to come to, they said. And we can honestly say, you have made our day.
There we are then, Giles Whitehead from West Malling in Kent, talking about open studios where artists all across the southeast open up their doors to visitors. A lovely opportunity to meet artists in their natural habitats. You can find out where and when they're open if you go to seosart.org. The other thing that Giles is up to is an exhibition which he's just opened at the Seaside Museum in Herne Bay. He's created an exhibition based on his own seaside holiday memories from Kent in the 70s, together with recollections of Herne Bay residents from the museum's audio archive. Lovely. It's got artworks and films that he's made to illustrate the recordings alongside original artefacts from the museum collection, which is just great. It runs until the 20th of July, plenty of time, so you can go to the Seaside Museum Herne Bay. And if you'd like to go and find Giles on social media, Giles Whitehead Artist. He has plenty of his brilliant artwork for display there. You can check it out. He's just so talented. Thank you so much, Giles, as always.